This is my 2019 Ram. It is 5,000 miles on it. No, it's hard to see. This is, I'm going to show you guys how I pulled apart the head unit and how I'm going to run this wire. So this is the keyed power. I'm going to leave this as it is right now. So that's key on power. So if you want the dash cam to go on when the power goes, when you have the key on, that's where you're gonna want to plug it in. I'm still debating on how I'm actually gonna set this up. This is actually a pretty inexpensive camera. Here's the part number. I believe it's a Amazon deal there. So I'm toying with a couple of ideas right now. Obviously, I'm running it down here, and I'm probably gonna loop it up and come straight up because I kind of want it on this side. I might do it on this side, not sure yet, haven't decided. But it seems like it's gonna be a little bit easier to route it under here than it would be on this side. I apologize if it's dark in here, guys. I'll turn the flash on in a second. But some of the safety things you're gonna want to do to make sure, I'm gonna tell you guys how I did this so far, because it took me a second to figure out myself without breaking anything, and luckily I have not. Mine is a lease, and I want to be extra. This is a lease, so I want to be extra careful with it. This is your little, I don't know what you call it, like dirt guard or whatever that goes in the top of here. There's 2 Phillips head screws in the top portion of your center head unit rather, and they screw here, right in here. What you're gonna want to do while this is hooked up, hold on, let me set this up here. It just snaps in there like that. Honestly, that's it. And what I did is I pulled up down here and pushed with my thumb on this on both sides. I can't do it right now, obviously, but don't do it the way I'm doing it. I definitely do it with the head unit off, the truck off, the battery disconnected. I'm kind of an idiot, and if anything goes bad, it's completely my fault. But yeah, just take the extra safety precautions on that one for sure. So then I just kind of picked it up and lifted up this way and out. So that came off real easy. This was a little bit more difficult. I got a pry set, but really all you need is, this is ideally a non-marring tool, so you don't want to stick like a screwdriver in there. But I mean, you can do whatever you want, but this is kind of how the tabs are. So I went from the top, I came down, I figured out those are coming down. There's, you know, get all the way across the top, and then you can kind of pull the sides out, and then the bottom just comes straight out, because that's how these tabs are facing down here. Just so you guys can see the orientation of that, so you don't crack that. That's probably an expensive piece. Obviously, this piece, I just popped the door handle covers off. I just kind of like pushed in the back, stuck that tool in here, and popped it right out. And there's just 2 10mm. They were honestly pretty loose in there, so I'm not gonna crank them down. And then you got the headliner where we're gonna go across, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna put it over here or if we're gonna put it over on this side. Probably on this side, just because it's easier to, you know, there are some actions that are required every once in a while. It has pretty good reviews on Amazon, so I'm pretty confident in it. But I'm not a huge fan of how gymongous this mount is right here, but we're gonna do the best we can. So I'm gonna show you guys how I run this wire. So after about 35 more seconds, let me close this door real quick, of wiring here, it's really actually pretty simple. The only tools I used so far was this scraper, mark pry bar, and a 10mm and a Phillips head screwdriver. That's really it. Everything else I was able to do by my hand. So after we got the gauge cluster, lens piece off, I was able to pry this up. I'm not sure if I took it out the right way. I'm sure there's a proper way to do this. So be careful with this. But I noticed there's a little hole back there, and I just stuck my pry bar tool in here, and this popped right out. This was super easy to take out. I'm sure this is expensive too, so we're gonna be careful with that. This popped right off. Like, pretty much you could take anything on this truck apart, it seems like, with the screwdriver, if you really wanted to. I was super surprised how easy this head unit came out, pleasantly. But so I was able to tuck the wire in up. Let me pull on it real quick. Up through there, I was able to run it by my hand. I have pretty big hands, so if you can't do it, then just get you know, something else, you know, someone else, maybe a claw grabber, or you know, some heavy gauge wire, not heavy gauge, but like 12 solid wire, and run it through there, and then you can pull it through real easy. But all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck it up in here safely, out of the way of the airbag. You know, that's my disclaimer. You know, don't put zip ties around. I'm pretty sure this is a curtain airbag. Be careful with that. I'm gonna tuck it up behind everything and then up in the headliner. I just kind of loosely, temporarily installed this. I just kind of stuck it up there. At some point, I'm probably gonna find a new mount out for this, but really this pulled back, and I was able to tuck it in real easy, and we're gonna go all the way across, down, and then we're gonna snap everything back together. There's 2 wires right here, so I'm debating on just cutting this right here and splicing this guy in, or having another cigarette lighter in line. I haven't really decided. So that way it's completely clean. Nothing up here, nothing in there. I could still use this for my, you know, whatever, GPS, even though this thing has a humongous one. Let's say, you know, my radar detector, I'm gonna throw it up there real quick. And, you know, I'll pull it out of the way when, you know, I'm driving through Virginia or whatever. But it seems to be picking up pretty well. It's pretty wide angle. Obviously, these are my lift arms, so that's a pretty good idea. That's actually in, you know, pretty much at the nose of my truck, and it's getting both of them. So that's a pretty wide angle. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit more, obviously, but you know, that's the hood, and obviously that's the sky. That's pretty high up there. That's 16 feet. I'm about halfway pulled in the garage right now. So if you guys are curious of the angle there. But yep, I'm gonna set everything up and then let you guys know how I like it. So right now, all we got going on is some zip ties. So that's why, you know, it's up to you if you want to solder the wire in here so that you still have, because I believe this is the only 12 volt cigarette lighter port in this truck. I haven't looked extremely hard, but I'm pretty sure that's it. You got 2 wall plugs in here and like 30 million USBs, so that's cool. But we're running out of these slowly but surely. So it's nice that they did throw it in up here, but it would have been cool if they would have had some back there. So I, being me, have some extra slack up here, so I can move this around a little bit. Maybe if I wanted to decide to move the other side. There is actually a little notch cut out there, which I have the wire run out. I like that a lot, and I was able to just I'm gonna fix this, but I was able to, for the wire back here, I just took my tool and I pushed it back, and it seems pretty firm, and you know, not really messing anything up there. For all of you asking, this windshield is tinted. It's a 50% tint, so it's a pretty light tint on the front, and I do have 20% on the sides, which is, yes, illegal in my state, and especially on the front windshield. But the camera seems to be picking up fine. We're gonna do some night driving with it and see how it does. But like I was saying, we're gonna leave some slack over here in this corner, and then we're also gonna coil the rest of it up over here. We're gonna make sure this is tucked up out of the way of the gauge cluster, and then we're all good. I am gonna cut that harness open. What I'm gonna do is, I just bought this splitter. It was super cheap. I think it was like $4 shipped or something ridiculous like that. And I was thinking I'm just gonna end up taking this apart, and if there's a fuse in there, I'm probably gonna discard it because that's fused. And we're not pulling that much power from there. You know, we're only gonna be running a camera and a radar detector, so I'm not really too worried about it. Blowing the fuse. Obviously, this is going to be our hot, and this is going to be our ground. So I'm going to have to check and see which wires, and we're going to splice them in. So giving myself some more room, I just, this is obviously the antenna wire. There is a little detent right there. Push that in, pops out. I think this is the connection for the screen itself. I'm assuming these are the connections for the buttons, and then this whole thing pulls off. I cut the loom back. It's kind of like the sticky stuff. I just use a regular pair of kitchen scissors. Pink wire with the orange tracer, or purple wire with the orange tracer, and not the black wire. I'm assuming the black would be ground. I was able to splice this wire back without cutting the wire at all. And this is what I used. It's you can get these at Harbor Freight. This is a Blue Point set, which is a little bit nicer, but I find this to be the easiest to strip the wires back. I just go a little bit at a time like that, and I go the other way, and I can take a thin little razor. I can cut the little slit and peel it back. So I did test it, and the black is ground like we were assuming. So I went ahead and I spliced the two grounds together like this, and then I'm gonna tape it out of the way. And we're gonna do the same thing with the hots. I'll show you what that looks like. So we do have power to the camera now. This is how I splice them together, and then taping them is the best, you know, solution I could come up with. If you have any other suggestions, please feel free to let me know. I'm gonna put a zip tie there and make sure, you know, if someone else comes in here, they're not gonna like rip these two out. So we have these two additional ports, because I did want to keep, we got the red light indicator there. I did want to keep the functionality of the factory cigarette lighter open, clean, and have this out of the way. And if I want to grab this cord out of here, I don't have to destroy the cord and cut it up. So honestly, I'd rather cut up the truck harness, which sounds a little crazy, but worked out good. If you guys accidentally bump a wire into something and pop the fuse, I was reading online, it was hard to find for some people, but I did locate it under this kicker plate. There's two screws in here. It's what size is that? 9/32. And then it would be this that fuse right there. I'm trying to get it to focus. That 20 ampere. So I'm gonna button everything up. I'm gonna zip tie it all together, and I'm gonna show you guys how I personally like how clean it looks. So personally, I am liking this. I still gotta figure out the camera portion of it, which I probably should have done first. But right in that little groove right there, pretty out of the way. Up in the headliner. No wires exposed all the way down, all through everything, and then on the back side of this. So I still have my keyed power. I did look in the manual just so you guys know. Make sure not to exceed 13 amps through this. So like don't plug in like an inverter or something. Why would you when you got the plug down there? But yeah, so 13 amps. I still have to look up the power draw on this. Each camera's gonna be a little bit different, so you guys should as well. But I'm guessing it's roughly like half an amp draw there. So, you know, figuring you got 10 amps left is pretty safe. 10 amps is a fairly decent sized draw. So yeah, that's pretty much my video. I'm pretty happy with it right now, so I can't make any complaints. If you guys think I should have done something differently, or think I should have tried, you know, doing something a little bit better, feel free to let me know. I appreciate it.